This video and its content are protected by and operate underneath the guise of the Fair Use Act. Its materials will be used for criticism, reporting possible teachable moments, and most of all, my review. So, YouTube and anybody who gets butthurt, do not come copyright striking my channel. Also, everything is allegedly according to what has been alleged. Even if we see them do it with our own two eyes and we hear them say it out of their own mouths, it is still alleged because we don't know what happened.
And I'd be like, why are you so obsessed with me?
Did you hear what they just said? Child, a whole mess. Oh, I'm about to spill this Hennessy and y'all about to sit.
Yo, what's poppin', Henny gang, 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 gang. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the Henny gang. We don't bite unless you bite first, and then we bite back harder. But if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it costs you nothing to do so. So hit that notification bell and select all so you get notified whenever I do a video. Now, I did do the intro a little bit differently because normally, I tell y'all what we getting ready to get into and then I do the intro, but I want to just jump straight into the topic, okay? So, Henny Glasses in the chat, if you saw Transforming Rollie on Zeus. Because Transforming Rollie over on Zeus has it it was a lot to digest, if you ask me, because okay, I'm trying to think of how to do this and be politically correct while I'm saying it, but I'm giving y'all my raw and honest opinion of this. So if you don't know what Transforming Rollie is about, this is about Rollie's weight loss, plastic surgery journey as she goes through transforming her body. Okay. And what she's doing is, she doesn't want to go through traditional weight loss. She doesn't want to go through any of those things. So she's decided that she's going to use the method of plastic surgery to be her means to lose the weight that she has, put on. One of her concerns is the fact that as she gets older, she wants to be able to be healthy. Now, Rollie says that she is a healthy plus size woman. And I can't say that is not possible. Okay. It is possible to still be in good health and be overweight at the same time, meaning that she doesn't have any diabetes. She doesn't have any heart disease. She doesn't have any of those complications that usually come with people that are overweight. So she said this is her way of doing it. She doesn't want to hear people talking about why not go to the gym, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Now, when we start on this journey, she starts her journey in Atlanta at Goals in Atlanta. Okay. And Dr. Z performs her surgery, but Dr. Voskin, I believe is how you say his name, who is the owner of Goals, meets with her. Okay. So he was there and she meets with him. And she meets with her team and they do the markings on her and everything. But I noticed something. I noticed that the infamous pill cocktail that usually gets given to people was not given to Rollie. Now, when I've gone through the Goals paperwork and the lawsuits or the complaints or the news clippings of Goals, one of the things that people always speaks about is this cocktail of pills that they give them, like an antibiotic, something for them to be a little woozy, something to help them with pain. It's just a bunch of little pills they give them, prescription they give them, they take it before they go. And this is because goals does not put you to sleep. They don't use anesthesia to put you under. So you're awake during their process. This is one of their claims to fame and one of the things that attracts people to them. This is one of the reasons that they allege they are able to give plastic surgery at a quote unquote cost effective price, like where people are, it's affordable, is because they don't have to deal with anesthesiologists and all that other stuff. What I did find interesting was that Rollie did have to lose some weight before she went to go get her surgery done. So she's in there, she's perky, she's up, she's chipper. And then she has to disrobe her clothes. Zeus did not blur anything out. Rollie had pasties over her nips. We did not see her punanter or her kunter cat. We didn't see that. We did see her booty, but we didn't see like everything, but they didn't bother to blur anything out neither. And I felt like, in my opinion, that was distasteful. You could have at least blurred her boobies, okay? So Rollie goes and she's disrobed. They do the markings on her and all of that. And then she goes into the OR. Now, let me tell you about their OR. I don't know about everybody else's OR, but this OR gave me doctor's office vibes, like a regular doctor's office that you went into that had this operating table in the middle of it. It just looked like a regular office in a regular doctor's office. It did not look like a traditional OR to me. Okay. Rollie climbs up on the table, and they begin injecting her with medication to numb the areas that they're going to be liposuctioning. And they're numbing the areas so that way she doesn't feel anything. And so they start with the numbing of her gluteus maximus. And so they numb that area first, then they have her roll over and they numb her stomach. And then they begin the process of, yes, she climbed up on the operating table. I did not see them put a stool. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see her step up on anything. I didn't see it. So I'm not going to say it wasn't there, but I didn't see it because I was just like still stuck on the fact that Rollie is butt bunky in her nudity. And they not bothering to blur nothing out. Anyway, so she climbs up on the table and, they numb the booty part and then they numb the stomach part and they start pulling out the fat. First of all, that was traumatic to watch. But Rollie is awake the whole time. Now, I will say she didn't like make the traditional noises that people make when they are in pain. She might have squeezed or winced a little bit occasionally because they were saying that one side of the body is always more tender than the other. So one side of her body was more tender than the other side. So when they were doing that side, she was wincing a bit. They pulled out as much fat as they could pull during that session. And then they had her turn over and they injected her booty with the fat. Now they're telling her not to flinch, not to squeeze, not to tense up, because if you do, where they've injected the fat at is going to come squirting out. So needless to say, you do see some of the fat squirting out. Okay. And then once that process is done, Rollie goes and she's laying in the back of the SUV on her stomach like everyone else does when they get done. And then slowly but surely, she's starting to feel some pain. So they're asking about pain meds. She's going to say they told her she could take Tylenol. What? Tylenol does not do anything. Okay. Anyway, this was her first surgery that she had done. Thus far, she has not complained. Natalie did call her. She was telling Natalie she had a new booty. She wanted to show off her new booty to Natalie. And I didn't see a difference in Rollie's booty the first time. I'm just going to be honest. I really didn't see a difference in the booty like that. But that's just like Taseki. I don't really see a difference in her booty unless it's at a certain angle, then you could kind of see. But I didn't see anything that first day. We get previews of the next week, and next week it looks like she's going in to have her chin done. But my problem with all of this is, now I get it. I get it. They don't use anesthesia. They don't do any of those things. So they can be, they could be budget friendly or whatever. My problem with that is, what else? If you're skimping on not putting anesthesia, what else are you skimping on is my question, because this does not seem correct. Okay? It does seem like they're doing anything for $1. I'm not going to speak on whether or not Rollie was healthy enough to go for surgery, because one of the biggest things that they say is a risk when you go under anesthesia is your weight. But now my problem is, when they say that, what do you say to those people who are 300 and 400 pounds that go in and have gastric bypass surgery or triple bypass surgery, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they go in for other things that happen in surgery, like, and they're overweight. So if that's not an issue at the hospital, why is it an issue for you? The other thing that I don't understand, and this is no knock towards any of the plastic surgeons that are out there, but why is no one required to do these surgeries in a hospital? Why are they allowed to open up these private practices and call them med spas, have degrees or medical licenses in cardiology and all other stuff, but they're not board certified plastic surgeons? Like, the requirements for plastic surgeons is so freaking skim, it's not even funny. The guy who owns Goals is a pediatrician. Okay, I just feel like, to make this safer for people, these procedures should be done in a hospital. If they are done in a hospital and a person stays in a hospital overnight, or at least for 48 hours, to make sure that everything is okay, their vitals are being checked, they're being given anesthesia, not anesthesia, antibiotics, they're being given pain meds, they're being given different things, all of that. Why? No, they were not. Donna, you asked a very good question. She asked, were they even monitoring her heart and blood pressure? I did not see a heart or a blood pressure machine hooked up to Rollie. I also did not see oxygen tanks in that office either, in case she needed oxygen, because sometimes you start shallow breathing when you are underneath anesthesia. Okay. And I've been under anesthesia a lot, so I know you're supposed to be having some oxygen, because there's times when I've gone to go get my cortisone shots in my back, and they had to put me under anesthesia, and they put the tube in my nose with oxygen. It didn't happen every time, but there were times when that oxygen went in my nose. Not only that, I had a blood pressure cuff on. I had the thing on my finger monitoring my blood pressure, all of that stuff. I mean, my heart rate, everything. None of that was going on during this surgery at all. So that was a great question to ask. Thank you for asking, because I forgot about that point right there. This kind of gave me a mix of emotions to watch, because we know that Rollie has been a big girl for a long time. Okay, we know this. And while she presents confident, she does also disclose that she suffers with depression behind the scenes. And I can't help but to think that it's because of some of the mean things that people have said about her online, people have done to her in real life. I mean, shoot, her name is Roly Poly Snack Meals, and that was given to her because of her weight by chance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, while she's trying to embrace it, I believe she still feels a way on the inside because of it. Okay. It sounds like shade tree surgical operation. Listen, this gives me back in the day when women could not do a termination. And y'all know what I mean by termination. And so they had to go to the back alley people that would put them on the table with a wire hanger and do the wire hanger thing to get the baby out. That's what this is giving me. My heart went out to Rollie, especially being that I'm somebody that has, I've gained a lot of weight. Now, a lot of it was due to me and health issues that I had. And then because of injuries that I've sustained, it makes it very hard for me to get out there and work out and lose weight and all of that. So I understand, because I too, at one point in time, was considering going underneath the knife to get a tummy tuck, to get a BBL and get my thighs and my hips filled in. Like, I was thinking of that because of my knee, hip, and back injury that I've sustained. So it makes it hard for me. So I figured if I could get the weight off of me, have the body that I want, that'll be the motivation for me to try to maintain or lose more weight. Right? But I can honestly say, I don't know, because we know the outcome of Rollie. But now that we're watching what the journey was, I want to see what the complications were that came in, because she seemed very happy when she got up off of that table. They did pull a lot of fat out of her stomach. They really did. They don't do that. They also don't do anything that has to do with her losing blood either. No. It didn't seem to me like they were very well prepared for a medical emergency. And that concerns me, because you should be prepared. Now, that's not to say they didn't have crash carts or anything like that around, but we didn't see it. They don't consider it major surgery. That's the thing. And to me, it is major surgery, regardless to what it is. You are taking stuff out of my body and adding stuff in. That is major surgery. Okay. It's a surgery that most people get put to sleep for. I'm right there with you. Been thinking about it for a while, but there's too many issues. And I've even looked at a lot of different doctors. I was considering Goals at one point in time, because I'm like, hey, Goals is right here. It's simple. I just will never go to the one in Brooklyn, because I've heard some bad things about the one in Brooklyn. The one in Harlem got closed down. I heard a lot of horrible things about that one. Not too much for the Bronx, but I was considering it, and I'm glad that I didn't follow through with it. If your life is on the line, it's major, right? Yeah, I couldn't watch stuff like this. You know, I understand the struggle to want to do something, to get yourself back into a healthy state. And I also am looking at it from the standpoint of, oh my God. Like, it's one thing to hear the stories, it's another thing to watch it. The nurse or attendant that was holding her hands didn't even have her scrubs all the way up. She had her scrubs like halfway. They were like off her shoulders, but on her arms. She did have a head bonnet on. She didn't have a mask covering on. I don't recall if the surgeon who was doing her fat transfer had a mask on or not. There was a young lady that was in and out the room. Her friend was allowed to stand in the doorway while she was getting this procedure done. And I'm just looking like, where is the sterile environment? They're spraying her down with Benadine, but where's the sterile environment? This environment does not seem very sterile to me. Now, notice I did not say that it doesn't seem like it wasn't clean. It did not give sterile like it's supposed to when you have surgery done, whether it be minor or major. It's not sterile. You should not be in and out the room. You should not be holding her hands. I don't even think she had gloves on holding her hands. Did she have gloves on? I don't know if she had gloves on or not. I don't think she had gloves on. I'm going to have to go back and watch and let y'all know in the comments if I saw gloves or not, because I can't remember. I don't think I did, though. Either way, it was not a sterile environment. Okay. Yes, definitely an easy way to catch MRSA. I'm sorry, I said Mars. MRSA. And as you all know, Goals decided to sue Zeus Network and Rollie for defamation of character, right? So we read that, and it's a $2 million lawsuit that they did. Well, you guys, it seems that there is more to this lawsuit, or another lawsuit that is coming out of all of this, because let me get my watermark up, guys. Let me get my watermark up. They inject you with lidocaine. Let me tell you something about that damn lidocaine. That lidocaine doesn't always work. Okay, let's get the watermark up. Let's get the screen up here, because it is time to pull the docs. Okay, it's time to pull the docs. Any glasses in the chat if y'all are ready? Y'all ready for this? All right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the court document for Ella Voskin. I hope I'm saying that, or Voskin. It's either Voskin or Voskin. We're going to say V, but then again, we'll probably get confused. Anyway, this is the wife of the man who owns the Goals Plastic Surgery. I don't know who Umed is, but their complaint is for a jury demand and designation of trial counsel. Okay. So now you have the practice, Goals practice, Okay, can y'all hear me? Yeah, because for whatever reason, it accidentally swiped me out, and that kind of pissed me off just now, because I wasn't even doing anything that required me to be swiped all the way out of. And I just really need to get a mouse. But anyway, okay, we have that up. Everything is as it should be. Let's get this screen back up here. Now, where were we? So not only is Goals the entity suing Zeus Network, and I was gonna say Biggie. Sorry, Rollie. But now you have the wife and this Umed person going after them as well, after Zeus, because they're going after Zeus, John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and business entities A through J. Okay. So let's get into this and let's see. This action addresses the wrongful use of these plaintiffs' names, likeness, and image. Okay. And video recording for a commercial purpose and advertisement thereto without authorization or consent. The use was in defamatory and improper television show meant to inter alia cause harm to plaintiff's employer. As an effort to provide support for a third party, which is a party in default in a separate arbitration matter due to her ongoing pervasive and inappropriate defamation. So they're referring to the court case that they already have against her. So they're using this new case to continue with as a backbone to their case. That's what they're doing. Okay, wait a minute. Let me pull this up, because this is giving me a hard time right now. All right. The use was defamatory and proper television. Okay. Indeed, extensive battles have arisen by and between plaintiff's Ella Voskin's husband and the plaintiff's employer against defendant Zeus Network LLC. Now and knowingly that they did not sign any authorizations for the use of their names or image, unlike others who signed same, plaintiffs saw themselves on nationally distributed advertisement for the show. Evidencing the bad faith and intention to cause harm. So this goes on with more of the same of what we saw in the other lawsuit, where Goals is claiming that they did not give them permission to use their likeness. They did not give them permission to put them in their advertisements. They didn't give them permission to do any of this, okay? So it says, as a direct and proximate result of the defendant's actions, plaintiff's privacy has been violated, causing them to suffer significant damages, including embarrassment and severe emotional distress. Astounded by defendant's conduct, plaintiff's employer contacted defendants and even went as far as to seek injunctive relief in court, asking them to cease use of images, likeness, and videos. Despite plaintiffs' consistent attempt to maintain their privacy and protect their identity, defendants have violated their privacy and their exclusive right to use their likeness under New York law. For each of those reasons, plaintiff has been forced to commence this action. Do y'all hear this? Child, they putting it on for their city, aren't they? Let me come back over here. Let me see what y'all talking about when y'all talking about what y'all talking about over here. Heading to the top of the video, y'all, they can't do much with it. And he's on top of the video. Oh, what happened? I don't have my watermark up. Is that what? Yes, it's the damn vacation nails. The nails are messing me. Well, I don't even know if it's the nails messing me up or not, because it's like when I swipe a certain way, all of a sudden it swipes me. Like if I swipe too fast to the right, it swipes me out. So I have to be gentle. So I need to get me a mouse for real, because we ain't gonna keep going through this. But I thank y'all for y'all patience. I thank y'all for staying here. We're gonna get back into the video right now. So yeah, they're basically, I wanted to see what you guys are saying, what you guys are talking about over here. So let me gently come over here to the comment section. Okay, they need to be exposed and shut down expeditiously. I 1000% agree with that comment. Y'all are laughing at me. Okay, when vacation nails go wrong, that is what this is. When trying to be cute go wrong. But anyway, let's get back into it. I have put the watermark up. So we're gonna get back into this, because this doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't make sense to me, because the cameras were in Dr. Voskin's office when Rollie met with him before she met with Dr. Z. So you knew that you were going to be on camera because the cameras were in your office capturing Rollie walking through the office door to come and greet you. So it's not like she had on a secret camera and was secretly recording anything. Like, these cameras are out. Even at one point in time in the video, when she's going across to the room where she's getting ready to have the surgery at, you see one of the Zeus cameramen ducking into a doorway to get out of the shot. So how are you saying, and the cameras were all in the room while she was having this procedure done, so much so that Dr. Z, the one who was actually doing her surgery, said that she squirted fat on the cameraman's camera. So I don't get how they can say this. Like, you should not have allowed, if I was a judge and I was ruling over this case, I would have said, well, if you didn't have cameras, if you didn't agree to this, Why were you filmed on camera? Why were they allowed in your practice in the first place to be able to even capture your image and your likeness if y'all didn't do some type of agreement, if there was no contract, if there was no verbal agreement that y'all came to a decision and a consensus with to say, yes, this is what's going to happen. No, this is not what's going to happen. How did this happen? Let's continue. Plaintiff Ella Voskin, EV, is a citizen and resident of New York County, New York. Plaintiff Umed, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's going to be referred to as is a resident of New York County and New York. Defendant, the Zeus Network LLC, is a web-based television streaming station organized in the state of Delaware with the principal office in California, and which produces and displays its television programs nationally, including in New York and within the Southern District of New York. Okay, wait a minute. The fictitious parties identified herein are also designated because their identities are currently unknown upon review of discovery and may show that they are liable for damages ascertained herein. Okay. Now, this court has subject matter jurisdiction because this matter involves damages that excess $75,000, and there exists complete diversity as to the parties, as plaintiffs are New York residents, and upon information and belief, defendant is Delaware Limited Liability Company with two members, one being a resident of California and the other being a resident of Texas. Now, how do you do that? Okay, let's get into the background facts. I will be posting this over there on Patreon when the live is done so that you guys can go and read the parts that we didn't read. But we're going to get to the factual background, which, if you know anything about how we've been reading these cases, the factual background is the part that tells you what had happened was. So what had happened was plaintiff EV is the wife of Sergey Voskin, MD, the principal shareholder of My Goal Solution, Inc. Plaintiff is a manager for My Goal Solution, Inc. My Goal Solution, Inc. hereinafter Goals provides administrative services for several plastic surgery medical offices throughout the United States that do business under the registered trademark of Goals Aesthetics and Plastic Surgery, the Goals trademark. They provide administrative services for several plastic surgery medical offices throughout the United States. Administrative services? Is that? So are you saying that you just provide staffing and a building for these doctors? Is that what you're telling me? Because that's what it's sounding like to me. I could be wrong, but that's what it's giving. It's giving that we just provide a building and we provide staffing, but we have nothing to do with the plastic surgery. We just, Tanisha, you agree? Okay. Admin is paperwork and stuff. Administrative services to several plastic surgery medical offices throughout the United States. Child, that sounds suspect within itself right there. How, Sway? How you lying on a court document like this? Child, the Gold's trademark is the property of NYC Medical Practice IP Holding Corp., which provides a license to Goals to use and sublicense the Goals trademark. Plaintiff Goals also owns trademarks on Double BBL and FlexScope. So if they provide administrative services, right? I need to understand this because I went to school for administrative assistance. Administrative is office work. That's paperwork. That's filing. That's faxing. That's document transcripts and stuff like that. That's not surgery. So how, if you provide administrative services do you also own the trademark for the double BBL? And the trademark is actually the property of New York City Medical Practice IP Holding Corp. And they license Goals and sub-license the Goals trademark. So Goals is underneath an actual medical practice. But Goals is being mentioned as an administrator. Let's continue. On or about May 1st, 2023, Goals was approached by representatives of a business which was identified as the Zeus Network to work on production for their internet-based television station. In the process, these representatives sought to bring their talent, Miss Goldie Martin, aka Rollie Polly, to the facility managed by Goals to the facility managed by Goals. What? To have plastic surgery performed on her. Indeed, Rollie Polly is a known reality TV personality who has a reputation for brass and sexual content and an identity of a person with high body mass. Remember, we heard this verbiage in the previous lawsuit. So these surgeons coming under their umbrella to perform surgery, confusing if a client. Whose client are you? Thank you, gold digger. We're going to put that up there for a few minutes and let this sink in. They give administrative services to doctors to plastic surgeons across the United States. They own the trademark. They are up underneath a medical practice. Okay, they're up underneath them. They sublease their license for using the trademark Goals. Okay. They have trademarked double BBL and flex scope, and they manage the Goals facility. Okay. Is everybody following along right now? Henny Glasses in the chat if you following along. Put a number 2 if you a little confused right now. Whoo, baby. Okay, where was we? Now, remember, they was talking about her BMI and her being sexual, but I do not remember Rollie being sexual. Rollie has never been sexual in my eyes. Okay, everybody is following along. All right. Defendants' representatives promised that the television production would be entirely positive and would benefit Goals and Dr. Voskin's reputation by putting them in a positive light, and that the sole concentration of the services to be provided by Goals was the positive advertisement and representation stemming from the production. Goals notified defendants, and defendants contractually accepted the obligations to allow plaintiffs to review any and all footage before public display of same to ensure that they were not shown in a negative or demeaning manner, as can be done by editing used in reality TV. So, all right, so this is what they're saying. They're saying that Zeus, agreed to allow them, Zeus agreed to show them in a positive light, basically, and they agreed to allow them to, oh, we didn't get to that part yet. Goals notified defendants, contractor. Okay, yes. So they agreed that they would not show them in a negative or a demeaning manner. And now they feel that they have been. Further, due to concerns of Goals and Dr. Voskins of the filming of their patients and the risk of violating HIPAA, they required that they be provided an opportunity to review all footage to ensure no other patients were in the video, same as the request concerning of risk of negative portrayal discussed above, and the defendants agreed. So Zeus agreed to allow them to view all of the footage ahead of time and that they wouldn't show them in a negative light. Well, how could you show somebody in a negative light if they're showing you that they're in a negative light already? Y'all showed us your OR room. Y'all showed us what the room looked like, the setup, how the doctor was doing the procedure and everything. Y'all showed us this. Y'all allowed them in with the cameras. Anyway, With these promises made, Goals agreed to allow the filming of their locations, arranged for 2 surgeries for Miss Martin, and allowed a limited use of 3 trademarks. Defendants' agents acted in an expedited manner, providing draft agreements which were rejected to be signed by Goals, and making promises with up which up which upon information and belief they did not have authority to promise. So that's where the confusion came in at. Okay, so Zeus agreed to their terms, but they didn't agree to whatever Zeus sent them. They didn't agree. Okay, they drew something up, sent them the drafts of the agreements. They didn't want them. They didn't sign them. Okay, the first procedure was performed May 15th, 2023 at Goals Affiliated Medical Practice in Atlanta, Georgia. Same occurrence without issue. So y'all did not reach an agreement, but you allowed them to come in. Either way, you still allowed them to come in and perform the surgery. The second procedure was performed on July 20th, 2023 at Goals Affiliated Medical Practice in Los Angeles, California, which we remember because Rollie, we were wondering if she was doing like a Goals tour. Because she went from Atlanta to LA. Like, we were like, what's next? She gonna be in New York, and like, what else? What are we doing here? In contrast to the first procedure, Ms. Martin's conduct thereafter was beyond reproach. Subsequent to her procedure, she made innumerable threats to Goals and plaintiffs' EV Goals staff, and the staff of the medical practice was abusive and otherwise acted in a wrongful manner. Ms. Martin also made multiple defamatory claims at that time. Most relevant, she falsely alleged that Goals, its doctors, and otherwise were unprofessional. Thereafter, Ms. Martin began and continued a campaign of harassment, defamation, and used her sizable social media following in forums of the same. Now, this is where we think that they got her confused with Meatball. Eventually, in February 2024, Ms. Martin accused Goals falsely of killing patients and calling Goals death people, which resulted in Goals filing for arbitration pursuant to its agreement with Ms. Martin to seek damages for defamation and defamation per se. Now, services were made on Ms. Martin March 16th in 2024. So now, here is the update, because they basically, from what I'm gathering, after reading through all of that, this all sounds familiar. So what they did was took and copied and pasted, basically, because that's what I'm going to call it, a copy paste. The wife now took and copied and pasted everything that was in the original Goals lawsuit and put it on her lawsuit and slapped her name on it and another person's name on it, who I believe may be one of the physicians there or one of the staff members there. So that is where this is coming from. This is a second lawsuit. This is not an amendment to the first one. The first one is still out there, where Goals is suing both Rollie and Zeus Network and its affiliates and all of that. In this lawsuit, though, I find it very interesting that the wife is suing just Zeus Network, even though they mention a lot of Rollie in the lawsuit. Now, to me, this is all ridiculous because, first of all, they're harping on the fact that they wanted to be shown in a public light. However, your reputation is already in the crapper because you do have a reputation for not upholding good surgery or practice standards. You have been called unprofessional several times through people who have been to multiple practices in different states where you have practices at. People have said that these people have been responsible for people unaliving after having procedures done there. People have talked about the pill cocktails. They've talked about the unprofessionalism. They've talked about how their appointments are constantly switched around. People have complained about the fact that they do not meet their surgeon until the day of surgery, and then they meet their surgeon just to mark their bodies up, and that's it. And guess what? We saw that in the episode with Rollie. Rollie did not know Dr. Z prior to her going in. She did not know Dr. Voskin before she went in. They introduced her to Dr. Voskin. Then she was introduced to Dr. Z, and then Dr. Z went and marked her body up. Dr. Voskin even came into the OR, or the room that they use, to check on Rollie. He was not in medical garb. He did not have on anything that was covering nor protecting him. He just walked in there in regular scrubs, the same scrubs that he walked through the door in from the outside world. We didn't see him walk in there with no regular clothes and change clothes or none of that. He had those same scrubs on as he went into that OR. You were not sterile when you went in there. So you've made a lot of mistakes that people can pick up on already. So you're worried about being shown in a negative light. Then maybe you need to be concerned with what you're showing people, because you don't have a good reputation, Goals. You don't have a good reputation of taking care of your patients, of having good professional mannerism, of even giving a damn about them after they have had their surgery, because people have also had problems when it comes to their follow-ups. So at the end of the day, how can somebody make something look bad that already looks bad and represents itself bad? You've tarnished yourself already throughout the years of you having all of these practices. The fact that people have passed away at an alarming number, because you've had more people pass away underneath your care, if I'm not mistaken, and I will stand corrected, and I will say allegedly, had more people pass away under your practice than anybody else that I've heard of. Do mishaps happen? Yes, they do. Do things happen where people can possibly unalive under surgery, unalive after surgery? Absolutely. But when you're not taking the proper precautions for your patients during the surgery, what do you expect? You're not following a proper protocol. I'll be damned if I go into surgery for something and I don't know the doctor that's getting ready to perform surgery on me. I need to catch your vibe. I need to know, how do I feel with you? Do I feel comfortable? Do I trust you with my life? Do I want you working on my body? Because maybe there's something about you that rubs me the wrong way and I want another surgeon. I have that right as a patient when I'm coming in to have a procedure done to say that I don't want a particular doctor working on me. I can also ask to not be seen by a particular doctor either. So you aren't giving anyone those options. It was very alarming to not see that you were monitoring her heart rate and her blood pressure while she was in there, but you feel like you don't have to monitor her heart rate and her blood pressure because you don't have to do anesthesia. So it goes back to what I asked in the beginning of this video. If you're not doing anesthesia and that's cutting the cost of surgery, then what else are you cutting the corners on? And we discovered that that's a thing that they're cutting the corners on. You're cutting the corner on having oxygen there in that room. You're cutting the corners on possibly having life-sustaining equipment there in the room, because I didn't see a crash cart. I didn't see anything that would bring anybody back if something happened on their table. I believe if something did happen to somebody while they were on their table being operated on, they would call the ambulance and they wouldn't have the stuff that they need there, which is why I stand by what I said when I first started this video, and that is they need to be doing these surgeries in a hospital setting and not in these private practices. It is not safe. And furthermore, what I don't understand is why Goals has not been shut down yet. With the number of lawsuits, complaints, they have complaints in the Better Business Bureau up the yin yang. Just go look it up for yourself. All you have to do is Google Goals reviews, and you will see that it is one negative thing after another. I'm trying to get to your comment, girl. Hold on, because I'm having a hard time. All right, here we go. LP said, Lord, I'm content as I am. They're just grabbing a bag and not wanting to be held liable for their chop shop antics. Exactly. And the thing that Rollie said that they did not like was that they damaged the nerves in her stomach. That's what caused this lawsuit. Now, I do believe that they are mixing her up. I said this before. I do believe they are mixing her up with Meatball. I do. And if you missed the first video that I did about Rollie's lawsuit, you could check that out over on the Circus Press Box over in the lives, because that's where I have been giving my content on the court documents. I also just recently read NBA YoungBoy stuff. That was a few days ago that I read that, but y'all can check that out over there too. But in conclusion, I will say this. I will be watching Transforming Rollie because I find it very interesting. This is her story, and we're actually seeing her in a different light outside of baddies. So I'm curious to see what Goldie is bringing to the table and not Rollie. Like, I'm looking for more of Goldie. And she seemed to be more Goldie than Rollie in this series. So I'm looking forward to that. I also am very curious about the journey that she's going to take. And because there is a lawsuit that is involved, I do want to watch, especially when they're doing these procedures. I want to watch closely and observe everything that is going on, because I don't feel like anything that was done was defamatory. What it is they didn't want anyone to say anything bad about them because they already had that bad reputation. Now, we did see that Tifa or Taseki seemed to have had a good surgery, but we also see that ET did not have a good surgery either. But we can't even tell if it was a good surgery or not, because ET was also brawling days out of having her surgery done, and her organs were hurting. We don't know if that was from the surgery or if that was from the fighting or if it was a combination of the both. I believe it was a combination of the both. But either way it goes, I'm going to continue to watch this journey of transforming Rollie. Like I said, I found it very interesting, and I will also keep an eye on the court docs for y'all and keep y'all updated as I usually do. But shout out to the replay gang. And if you guys have made it all the way to this portion of the video, then shout out to you all. Now, I did see in the beginning of the video, somebody asked, how come I don't do a Henny Gang year roundup anymore? Because when I'm doing the reviews, sometimes I just want to get in and get out. But I promise I will go back to yearing all of the members, because the members are supposed to be getting shout outs anyway. I will go back to doing that. I do apologize if everybody has felt the way, or if you're missing it. We can go back to the year roll call. Okay. My apologies. But shout out to the replay gang, and let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below if you are on the replay gang. Thank you to everybody who tapped in and tuned in with me. What did you say? Gold Digger said, wow, damaged the nerves in her stomach, and such a claim. I would think that she has had a doctor determine those findings. She went to another plastic surgeon outside of Gold's, and they were able to help her. That was you. You're welcome, the Rainbow Chick. I love y'all as well. And so I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all got 2 lives out of me today. Look at there. Maybe y'all could get 2 videos. Who knows? But remember, when you vibe high so that the BS does not stick. And as you guys always know, love is always love, and it will never return unto you void. And guess what? Henny loves all of you, and I will see y'all in the next video, guys. Peace.
Because I don't want this simple life.